Intelligence maintenance, a lifelong commitment to avoid producing graduates who are mentally equipped for a world that no longer exists. Intelligence is not a certificate, nor is it a fixed achievement earned in youth and carried unchanged through life. Just as the human body requires regular checkups to remain healthy, the brain too demands continuous stimulation and renewal to remain intellectually fit. Unfortunately, many believe that earning school certificates at a young age is the end of learning. They stop updating their knowledge, unaware that yesterday's education has quickly become obsolete in today's fast-changing world. You were educated at the time of pencil and ardoise, or pen and paper. That was followed by a generation schooled with computers. Now we live in the era of artificial intelligence, the internet, and social media platforms. These tools are no longer optional luxuries, they are and will remain at the forefront of today's intellectual leadership. If you refuse to adapt, to upgrade your thinking and understanding of these tools, you risk becoming irrelevant in the conversation of today's economy. In many countries, across parts of sub-Saharan Africa and even certain regions in Asia and the Middle East, the education system continues to rely heavily on outdated theories and scientific teachings developed by scholars who lived in a pre-digital, pre-globalized era. These systems still center their curricula around colonials' plantation economy knowledge, often delivered through authors' voices that are not their own, and lacking space for critical, original thought. Young people in these countries are trained to memorize and repeat, not to question, innovate, or compete in today's global knowledge dialogue. The root of underdevelopment in most of sub-Saharan Africa lies in this very gap, the deep defasage between the content of education systems and the realities of development in the global north. While the world moves forward with artificial intelligence, digital economies, biotechnology, space innovation, and advanced problem-solving skills, too many African education systems remain trapped in outdated pedagogies. Without responsible, courageous leadership to overhaul the content and direction of education, nothing will meaningfully change. No policy, project, or international aid can substitute for the urgent need to feed African minds with relevant, modern knowledge that aligns with the demands of the 21st century. Yesterday, nations trained their masses for military service and physical labor. Today, the global arena is dominated by technology, automation, and data, fields that many of the older scientists and authors from these countries never imagined, and for which they never prepared future generations. As a result, their education systems risk producing graduates who are mentally equipped for a world that no longer exists. What are you offering to young people in terms of education? If your knowledge and approach remain stuck in the past, you are not preparing them for the reality they face. The job market of today requires digital literacy, innovation, critical thinking, adaptability, and global awareness. Old methods, without evolution, cannot equip this generation to combat unemployment or create meaningful opportunities. Education is not static, it is dynamic, ever evolving with society and technology. To maintain intelligence is to commit to lifelong learning, to grow with the times, and to ensure that both your brain and the minds of those you teach remain sharp, relevant, and future-ready. Intellectual stagnation is as dangerous as physical illness, it quietly limits progress. Just as you wouldn't trust a doctor who hasn't studied beyond the basics of decades ago, we must not trust leaders or educators who refuse to grow intellectually. To educate today is to lead by example, embracing change, and feeding the brain with current knowledge to build a generation capable of shaping tomorrow.